Welcome back to another Sunday video, y'all. What is up, my realists? It's Stephen, and welcome back to another Sunday video. I hope y'all are doing great. As for me, I am getting very bored. You know, at the start of lockdown, I actually had a routine going for me, and now it's just like non-existent. But that's okay. Hopefully this ends sooner rather than later, because like it has to. But yeah, we're gonna get to the video. But before we get to that, I just want to say, if you like this video, don't forget to give it a big thumbs up and comment down below. Also, don't forget to follow me on all my social media platforms at Stephen Flores for Facebook, at Stephen Flores _IRL for Instagram, and at Stephen J Flores for Twitter. And as always, if you like this video, want to see more videos like this video, don't forget to subscribe and click the bell for me, will ya? So yeah, without further ado, let's move on with the video. So this is like the opposite of the video I did last Thursday, and it's basically which antagonists are like the coolest. I don't know about you guys, but for me, sometimes the antagonist is the best character in the show or the most interesting character in the show. I don't know, heroes kind of all have the same motivation, but there are literally a million ways you can be evil, and I guess that's why they appeal to me so much. But yeah, so we're gonna get started right away with that. I made a list over here, and we are gonna get right to it. So first we have, I think the first person I also mentioned last time in the protagonist one, but the first one is Phantom from Phantom of the Opera. I think his real name is Eric, if I'm not mistaken. There's no way you can make a list about the best antagonists on Broadway and not include the Phantom. I mean, he's a serial killing, disfigured, magical guy. I think he's magical because like he made a whole mirror disappear and everything. Who lives in a subterranean underground layer. That is like saying a lot. Plus the best songs from that show are, you know, his songs. I feel like I'm giving the same exact reason as to why I think he was the best and like protagonist, but also he's the best antagonist or one of the best antagonists because he is just so iconic. And I know every single male theater kid, and not even like even if you're a theater kid, if they were given a choice to like play one character on stage, I bet a lot of them would pick Phantom. Next up we have Inspector Javert. From the start all the way till the end, he was just so good. And by so good, I'm talking about the musical version, not the Russell Crowe you know, nasally version. But yeah, Javert will always be an iconic villain for all time. I don't get, though, why he was so obsessed with Jean Valjean. Okay, like, Jean Valjean already, like, used up his time, you know what I mean? Like, he already served this time for stealing that loaf of bread. So, like, why did he try to arrest him again? Was it because he stole from the bishop or whatever? But then the bishop kind of saved him, made him turn his life around. So it doesn't really make any sense to me why he was, like, going after Jean Valjean later on. If someone could explain to me, maybe I missed something in the plot or something, but yeah. But either way, he's still iconic. And if any of you saw on Broadway the scene where he commits suicide by jumping off, like, a cliff or something, how it's done on Broadway is so good. Like, oh my god. Like, I remember when that scene happened, like, my jaw just dropped. I was like, wow, this is good. Next up, we have Evan Hansen. Yup, Evan Hansen. I know, I can already hear you. Y'all are already coming for me, okay? Evan is a good guy, okay? Okay, yeah, I get that. Okay, I get that. But he literally, I've said this so many times on this channel, it just needs saying again. He used someone's suicide for clout and manipulated people into liking him when they didn't. That is like grade A level sociopath. And yet, all of you like him just because you think he deserves to get pitied on because he has a mental illness. Okay, and I'm not gonna stigmatize people with mental illnesses, okay? It's hard. It's hard to get through all of that. But I'm pretty sure 100% of people with mental illnesses never use someone else's mental illness for clout. That just doesn't happen because that's just what normal human beings do. They don't exploit people's death for clout. And yeah, that's all I'm gonna say. Next up is Hades from Hadestown. This is probably like the lowest registered role in all of Broadway. The one where your voice just has to be so low. But his songs are great. I forgot who played him on Broadway, but the way he sang everything was so good. I don't know, he just seemed so menacing. He seemed so evil in every sense of the word. But he was also really smart, which is what I really like. Next we have, who I thought was my favorite character from Hamilton 2, Aaron Burr. Again, I like him for the same reason I like Phantom, and that's because the songs that are the best in Hamilton go to Aaron Burr. Wait for it. It will forever be my favorite song from Hamilton. Leslie Odom Jr. did the really like Herculean task of like portraying him as evil, self-centered, and only thinking about himself, but also in a way that you would sympathize with him, which for me is what really constitutes a really good villain. Next up is Scar from The Lion King. You don't go and kill your brother and then lie to your nephew saying that he killed your brother and not end up on this list, okay? He is like a lion fascist ruler, okay? He eliminated the competition, he lied to the masses, and said things were gonna be better when they just like did not be better, become better, be better. So yeah, he is evil, and be prepared will forever be a bop. Next up is Mr. Pulitzer from Newsies. He deserves to be here just on what he did to Crutchy alone. Now I can't remember if he was the one who ordered it or if he was the one who actually did it, but beating up a disabled person with their own crutch, that's like another level of low. Like that's like evil. That is like evil in the most evil sense ever. And yeah, just like he was just a bad guy overall, you know, like exploiting the working class and everything. But to beat up a kid with his own crutch, wow. Next up is the Squip from Be More Chill. I think you guys know I'm not really the biggest fan of Be More Chill. Some of it just seems really childish to me. But if there's one good thing I feel like that came out of Be More Chill, it's the Squip. The Squip was really written so well, and I like the performance of the Squip more from like the off-Broadway than the Broadway production. I know they were trying to like make it just like uniform with the book and how he's supposed to sound like a surfer dude or something, but it just didn't come off as menacing like at all, unlike the off-Broadway cast where I was just like, wow, this is like evil, like he is just evil incarnate, and I was, yeah. So yeah, I like the Squip as a villain. He's pretty good. Next up are two people from the same show, Madame Morrible and the Wizard from Wicked. They're basically fascist rulers too, if you think about it. If you don't agree with what they're doing, they're gonna antagonize you. And of course, who do they antagonize? The people who look different. I mean, come on, experimenting on animals, like, I mean, that's like basically they're like Cruella de Vil, and like she is like one of the most evil people like ever. They were just both so bad, and like, and I don't know with you guys, but the first time I ever saw Wicked, and then they showed that his daughter was Elphaba, I died. Next up is someone from Jesus Christ Superstar, Judas. Jesus Christ Superstar was able to humanize Judas in like a really good way. He really just wanted to like, you know, help Jesus and spread like the word and everything. But then also he didn't approve of what Jesus was doing. And then when he ratted him out to like the priests and like the police at the time or whatever you called them, then he was just filled with so much guilt that he killed himself. Wow, that arc is amazing. Like this is one of the villains that I like, not really because of like, you know, they did anything evil or whatever, but I like it because of the arc, because like, you know, I think I've said this before, as like a Catholic, you know, you read about Judas all the time and you kind of get desensitized and you kind of forget that he was human too. And this just showed him as like really human and like really like remorseful for what he did, but then he still sold out the Son of God. So yeah, that's why he's on this list. Next is Miss Lovett and Sweeney Todd from Sweeney Todd. Do I even have to explain this? Do I have to explain why it's wrong to kill people and then bake them into pie? I don't think I gotta explain that. It's just evil, like no matter which way you throw it. I really love Sweeney Todd. Like I think it's one of my favorites. I saw it last year for the first time and like I really loved it. That show just shook me to my core. And for me, just how remorseless those two people were just like added to how sinister they were too. And it also helps that Mrs. Lovett was played by Lea Salonga when I watched, and Lea Salonga is like awesome. Next up is the evil person from Annie, Miss Hannigan. How cruel of a person do you have to be mean to orphans? They don't have parents and you're gonna give them a hard time. And you could just tell she only cared about herself and about the money that she was gonna get. Like if she found Annie's parents or whatever. So yeah, she's literally just pure evil. And the next person for me is kind of related to her in a way. and that's Mrs. Trunchbull from Matilda. Both her and Miss Hannigan both like hate children. Mrs. Trunchbull literally twirled a kid around by their pigtails and flung them up in the air. And then she made somebody finish a chocolate cake until he was about to throw up. And then she locked so many kids up in the chokey. Did she like not hear about human rights or learn about human rights like ever? Next up is Gabe from Next to Normal. You know, like Gabe is like the manifestation of like all of her like mental disabilities and stuff, and he would not leave her alone. He was torturing her and torturing her year after year after year after year, and it was just like, I hate this guy so much. And it sucks that like the best song from Next to Normal for me is one of his songs, which is I'm Alive. Aaron Tveit did a pretty good job at like, you know, embodying like him and everything, but he is pure evil, like, oh my god. We're down to the last two, and I think the last one's gonna be a bit weird, but let me just get to the second to the last one. The Von Tussles from Hairspray. They are racist, they are self-serving, they will do anything to get what they want, which is always a good mark of a good villain. I know how like in the musical they were redeemed at the end, but I kind of like the movie version where they weren't redeemed. They just made it a lot more like fun that they were just suffering. So yeah, both like the mom and the daughter, I mean like the daughter doesn't really have much of an impact for me, she's kind of just like there, but the mom was the real one. Like I hated her. And lastly, we go to the antagonists of the last 5 years, Jamie and Cathy. Let me explain. Okay, they both really wanted each other, right? They were both so in love and everything, but they both had parts to blame in why their relationship failed. Now, I know what you're gonna say. Jamie cheated, so he's probably the one who's at fault, right? And I agree. If I had to pick between, like, am I team Cathy or am I team Jamie, I'm gonna pick team Cathy because, you know, at the end of the day, there's no excuse for cheating. Like, if you cheat, you suck as a human being. But you gotta admit, Cathy did not know how to communicate. She was just being hard to deal with because, like, you know, she was insecure that her husband was more famous and successful than her. And that is not his problem, okay? If you are insecure because of what your, like, significant other is doing, that's your problem, okay? You ain't gonna go around blaming them because that's your problem. And yeah, I just both feel like they both contributed to the downfall of their relationship. And again, I know Jamie did more wrong, but that doesn't mean Cathy was off the hook either. And yeah, those are my favorite Broadway antagonists of all time. Who are your favorite Broadway antagonists of all time? I want to hear about them. Comment them down below. And yes, I guess I'll see you guys on Tuesday for our next video. Thank you so much for watching. If you liked it, hit subscribe and like button down there. My last videos are to my left and to my right, and down in the description are my social media stuff. Like me on Facebook, follow me on Twitter, follow me on Instagram. Until next time, guys. See ya!